Okay, so this is the Q&A part to the Earth rights. Y'all got questions on cultural cultural stuff about us. Comments, suggestions. This is the time to come on the live and ask. So I was talking about the Earth rights, right? You moving your status up. See, they call that putting in your work. When you reaching out to everybody, and you making new connections. What they call it in the hood, campaigning, right? And you become your own ambassador to the people that's organic to the land as the instrument of unity. Look, and you reading the Protocols of Zion. Everything in that book, they saying that a Zionist should control is everything that they control in this exact society. But they say it's fake. It's a fake. You don't believe none of this shit that we doing to you that you can actually prove that we doing to you if you just step back and look and ask yourself for each one of these things that the Zionists got to control the Goyim, which ones do they control in the society? It's going to boil down to 9 areas of people activity, as Dr. Neely Fuller would call it, in the compensatory codes. So you heard Dr. Francis Wells in quoting at the beginning of the ISIS papers when he said, if you don't understand white supremacy, everything you think you understand is only confusing you. Then you understand they're going to use misdirection at every turn as a tool of military conquest, right? So when you learn the energy is built up for the takeover by spreading the energy of the self across the land, meeting up with like-minded individuals, going to sisters healing groups. That's why I refer people to the goddess Glow Up, because that's a sister that's already utilizing the sister healing circles to heal women from past traumas, and that also is a great aid in breaking generational curses. Nobody can clear your karma, but they can put you in the position for you to work through it by having those healing groups, right? So, we also, over the last few days, been seeing a lot of energy tied to Haiti being moved in real time. The Haitian Independence Day is, I think, July the 2nd, and all of the children of Haiti is feeling innerly different right now, and they haven't fingered what that difference is or what the catalyst is for making them feel different. A lot of them feel like they need to go back to Haiti. And the reason that is because it's called the call of the matriarch, the mother of the island. When it's time to restore the island, start calling the ones from the families original to the land to bring your skills home to rebuild this land back into a paradise after the war. And they put the war conjure to rest so beautifully in Florida. That's the Gullah Geechee side. Now they have to move to the state side of Haiti with a bigger recognition for the world to relieve them using the same coffers of FEMA continuity of government by the people of Haiti, calling the Sweetwaters back. That puts in the world on notice that Haiti, because it's already written and it's already been spoken, that at the end of the system, that Haiti is going to be the ground zero recovery. The new earth rises out of what they do on the island Haiti. That's why I did a whole documentary explaining how that energy, that lush or energy, became stagnant and how to move it. So now they in the process, the children of Haiti abroad are converging on Florida by a natural inner instinct to converge on Florida. And Florida is the finish line of the Gullah Wars. So this is why they came to give aid and assistance after the revolution in Haiti. They sent soldiers to fight in the Gullah Wars. This is how you get the energy signature of the descendants of Toussaint over here, the bookmen, and all of the priestesses that was instrumental in Haiti gaining their independence from the French. This is what made the French sell New Orleans to the English, because when they lost Haiti, they lost their stronghold. They didn't have no way to fight their war. They couldn't possibly militarily hold on to the port of New Orleans without Haiti as the backdrop. So this is why a lot of Haitians went into New Orleans and mixed conjures down there with Madame Laveau and Queen Mother Moore, and to consult the big mamas of New Orleans on redeeming the land at the close of the age. So when y'all call forth the ancestor to clean it up, make sure that y'all mention Ayeti as the final stronghold or the breaking of the conjures. That's the final conjure that makes it a revelation to the people, right, on what's taking place around the world on the land. I like this as the name. Were you in the slavery? Okay. Um, let's try Emmy Youngin. Can y'all hear me? Give me a thumbs up. What's up, young? Can you hear me? I can't barely hear you. Is your microphone on? I can't hear you. It sounds like you real far away. You people in the comments say they fucking with the live. Try to send me a request to come back in. Hopefully the next person can sound better. Let's see what this one do. Houston is a major stronghold for southwestern mobilization of tribes going back into the history books. So when you look at the conflicts of the Western, Houston was where they were setting up shop. All of what we call them as oil tycoons was setting up housing around the Houston area to exploit the western side of the country. So it become a stronghold for the people to claim Houston for the people and shake off the de facto corporate government. the the mayor has to be original to the land. They can be from anywhere on the land, but they have to be residing in the city that they about to take over. That's where they got to live at. But they can organize other jurisdictions. Um, in the city that they about to take over. That's where they got.
What's up with it, Aunt? Yeah. Can you hear me? Hang on. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know. It's let me try and all right, robot right now. Can you hear me now? What's up with it, Aunt? Damn, I don't know why it's doing that. Can anybody else hear me?
I got one. I don't teach personally. Don't teach sun gazing myself. Um, so I don't really. I understand it. I know how it works. I know the energies involved with sun gazing, but I don't. That's not my particular practice as a priest. I don't do personally do sun gazing, so I don't teach it. Yeah, so they messing with the connections and the sound I'm trying to let people come in and ask questions about the hierarchies that are established in your position on the land, and they won't let the I can't communicate with nobody like that. So I'll do it this way. I'll just let them ask questions in the comments if they want to ask questions, and I'll just continue to run my flabbery trap on what I think might need to go. See, no sound. Let's see the. Tell me if y'all can hear me now. Can y'all hear? If y'all can hear, give me thumbs up. Okay. So, um, okay. So I probably was covering up the speaker or something. Try not to do that. Anyway, so I was going over like how you move the energy in the organizing effort to reclaim your shit, right? So you remember we see the Panthers in the '60s, and they had all of those strong Afro sisters throwing up the fist. Um, they was using the sisters' right to rule as a building block without even knowing it. Had they known it, and, and they would have been following, they would have knew to look for the infiltrators, because our ancestors tell us if you can defeat the enemy within, you don't have to worry about the external enemy because they can't defeat you. And so these obstacles that they put in our path is the same obstacles required to use the energy to our greatest advantage. Our women mitochondria sinking to the earth and sinking to us as men, it creates hierarchies. The more support you get from the sisters because you are an upright man, the stronger your position is to rule in the community because don't nobody want an asshole tyrant for a leader. They just don't want that. They don't care who leads, as long as he ain't an asshole tyrant. As soon as he an asshole tyrant, then all the people rebel. Oh, we don't want that nigga. Get that nigga out of here. I'm gonna say just make sure you're right and tell the truth, and the people gonna respect you. And that's all I can do. You know. So let's see another question come in. Yeah, so they asked if when I mentioned the continuity government, do that rescind the discovery doctrine? Well, when the Pope called all of the Catholic holdings back, it was for liquidation purposes. We already ended the discovery doctrine when we self discover who we are. The papal bull loses its weight when we identify at the exact point when they declared the world imbeciles and who did it. When we identify these unum sanctums, it's ironic that unum sanctum is U.S. and United States is U.S. You think that's a coincidence? And so when we overthrew the Catholic Church by claiming a superior birthright, it proves that one of the organic people of the land is not an imbecile in law, and it's going to teach the people openly in their face, direct, how to restore the matriarchal form of government using the original rights to the earth right. So by doing the process of restoring the matriarchy, what you're doing is you dissolving the contracts that they created with the paperwork, and then in the future you only use paperwork for record keeping purposes. You don't buy people with paper contracts because that's condemning them to being a legal fiction, which takes away their organic right, right? The organic right tied them to the land. This is what we have to do, not what they got to do. So we got to realize, wait a minute, we was already here. We come on no motherfucking ship. Quit telling us that bullshit. We know that the blueprint for the slave ship is actually the blueprint for Notre Dame University. Then that's the university where they cracked this goddamn shit out, put this motherfucking shit in the public domain that we came on slave ships. So we won't never come to the conclusion we need to put up any form of resistance to the occupiers on the land. Can't nobody take your shit unless you willingly let it go. If you don't exercise your birthright, they just put it in file and give you a certificate of idiocy. They certificate of idiocy is to prove you are ready to receive your organic endowment, right? So all that stuff have purpose. When they trap you with the paper chain and you're going to use the same paper chain to try to get free, only going to keep tying you deeper and deeper. But when you realize, if you go back to your old ancestral ways of organizing, of mobilizing the community, getting involved in local politics, you start taking your local area over. This is the key to the matriarchs taking the entire system back from a autopilot ran government with a stage show as a political backdrop. No. I sent another question. In the last week, Heather Gifts just been working crystal clearly, especially when I'm in the dark. So the big thing that happened last week was the exposure of the method by which the matriarchs assert their power, their jurisdiction. And then it was concluded with an Oshun ceremony on the Haitian revolutionary side that also moved a lot of energy. So that's probably what you're feeling. I'm not sure, that might be talking about the scamdemic shit. The two types of DNA. But the human DNA is a sum total of the highest portions of all DNA on the planet, meaning that that's why we can totally tune in to frequencies of the totem animal, because that part of the DNA is still there for us to be able to be Earth. The Earth DNA is a set standard. The double helix, right? When the Anunnaki got a whole different helix structure. So when they mixed with humans, they created the multi-helix DNA, which created a more complex human. But then they had to step it down in order to keep the humans from becoming greater than the Anunnaki. And they did this through splicing or microscopically doing surgery on the available genes in order to alter the function of the genes. It's all written down in the cuneiform tablets from Sumer. Shoot me an inbox. I'll answer all my messages, but send it on my other on my Sick8 page, because I'm way behind on this page. I haven't been using because they had me blocked from doing lives and posting on this one. It just so happened I just got blocked on the other one, so now I'm doing live on this one. Right. So when you look at the women's groups. You got women's activist groups. You got the Women's Moorish Consulate. You got the MGT. You know, all of these groups and organized women already organized. And all we got to do is connect the links between organizations of women and organize those not organized. And the patriarchal right becomes easier to push when it's the collective majority of the women. Yep, the sick eight. Right. So a lot of the women see it as an insurmountable obstacle. Oh, it's impossible. Oh, it's impossible. Yeah, they told me I couldn't unscramble an egg until I did it. Told me Humpty Dumpty couldn't be put back together. Nobody can do it. It's almost impossible. I said, it's almost impossible? He said, yeah, it's almost impossible. I said, almost means it's a chance there, right? They said, yeah, it's a slight chance, but it's almost impossible. If it's a chance, I can do it. It's not impossible. It's just a chance that it's impossible. And it's a chance you can be successful. I'm not looking for the unsuccessful shit. That's not going to do anything for me. So I'm only going to look for the part of it that I can be successful in order to unscramble the scrambled egg that's been scrambled. And when I put Humpty Dumpty back together, I found it was a whole goddamn eagle. It was a whole goddamn eagle, a full goddamn bird. They told me he had a left wing and a right wing. And they was left wing, right wing ridiculous. Same bird. Flapping their goddamn wings, tricking us. Right? The energy moves, right? The energy moves when the organics start agreeing. Use just one grievance. Don't use them all. Use the children's grievance. The children's grievance, the grievance about the children, gives the women the absolute right to secure the government so that they can rebuild in a government that's productive for the next 7 generations of children. And there's no law superior to that on earth. It's called the right of the mother to protect the children. And it activates all men to aid and assist in the support of the mothers when they come together to protect the children. That means somebody ain't doing their job. Somebody sleeping on the post. We being raided for our children by foreign forces. Invaders are eating our babies. They are drinking their blood. They're doing torture rituals in order for them to produce that adrenaline so they can get the adrenochrome, the neuroepinephrine, and other neurological stimulants, and they can drink that shit and boost their motherfucking youth serums and shit that they using in order. And then, well, what are they gonna do to the baby? They gonna turn them into hypnotic assassins. You don't have no conscience no more. No, they didn't shatter their soul in by giving them an artificial ego that's more influenced by the commands of somebody else than by their higher inner self, right? They're fucking these babies up. What about they go to Disney World? She's so happy that she can finally take her 3 kids to Disney World. She gonna take her nephew and niece with her. Now she got her 3 babies and she got her nephew and niece, and ain't none of the children over 8 years old. And she by herself with having the time of her life until they drag her ass and them babies into this goddamn underground city they got at Disney World. But don't nobody want to talk about it. People see them snatching these folks up, never reported. It must be a show. Must be some kind of Disney production. If don't nobody say nothing, that mean ain't nobody supposed to say nothing. And just watch that shit happen. People looking for their families for years. Years. They somewhere in a motherfucking human sex farm producing babies for adrenochrome production. Some of them strapped to walls and hung up in closets by their wrists and shit. Motherfuckers got whole humans strapped to a goddamn slide out drawer under their bed so they can use them for their sex slaves. And I think that's good enough reason for the matriarchs to reclaim their shit. Because it ain't gonna stop. Because ain't nobody trying to stop it. So I feel like if one of these mothers say, well, you know what, I'd have had enough. I'm gonna go to next door and I'm gonna talk to Miss Ann and I'm gonna see if she had enough too. They had over 800,000 children a year come up missing. And ain't nobody asking no questions. DHS, Children Human Services, and all of the government protective agencies for the youth is the main motherfucker sex trafficking kids and giving them jobs in prostitution, exploiting the fact that they broke up the home so that they can have a child from a broken home, so they can break the psyche of the child by putting them into adverse conditions for their social development. Yeah, they just think I be talking. Oh yeah, that was some deep shit you said. It ain't deep enough to make you get up off your motherfucking ass and want to do something about it. That's all. It ain't that deep. It ain't deep enough to make no motherfucker come and want to organize some shit and put some shit together. You know what I'm saying? Where they at? Because it always start where you at. And where you at is the starting place. That's the reason you there. You exactly where you at to start exactly where you at in order to get where you trying to be. Because if you ain't where you at when you supposed to be there, there's no way you're gonna ever get to where you trying to be. So if you following your life path, you exactly where you need to be to do exactly what you need to do to get your shit back. I'm not talking to the brothers because once the sisters get back, there's gonna be so few of us, they're gonna be willing to take care of us. A lot of these motherfuckers ain't fit the rule no more. Ain't my fault. I didn't do it. I was trying to explain to these motherfuckers, man. You need motherfucker like Big Meech to teach these boys how to not be a fucking asshole when they get some money. You can let the chief come home and teach. Get that nigga that motherfucking bag. Let that nigga teach these sons. Nigga, no, we don't do that about money. That's not what family do. Family don't fight over money. We try to come together to make the pot bigger, yes. Fighting over who got the biggest piece, no. It's not about that. If you need help getting your motherfucking structure built, explain to me what you're trying to do. If I know how to do it or know somebody, I'm going to make sure that you got the proper aid and assistance you need in order to establish your structure. The cheat sheet for organizing women is the fastest way for the most amount of women to organize is by a woman reaching out, vexing the grievance number one about protecting the children for the next 7 generations to any woman's organization and ask them to aid and assist in connecting the mothers across the land because the organic people have the absolute right, according to the great law, when the children's welfare is in jeopardy by a system, to replace that system with one that's designed to protect the children. And you call them women's organizations. Mothers Against Drunk Driving makes it happen. They makes it happen. They got the motherfucking legislative track record to prove that when it comes down to mothers being fed up with some shit, they know exactly how to unify the mothers for the cause. This particular cause they were struggling for that established them as a network of viable women to work with for women is when they decided they tired of their babies getting killed by these drunk motherfuckers and all they get is a goddamn traffic ticket and they got to go bury this baby. When they thought about that shit, all of the women that was tired of burying their babies from a drunk driving motherfucker, now that shit is a felony. You will get your ass locked up for LIFE. If you don't believe me, you can go to the penitentiary and ask the motherfuckers doing life for a drunk driving accident. They done got so good, the prosecutor office support the mothers against drunk driving so good. This is how they make sure that a motherfucker that crashed into your baby get life. They don't charge them with the vehicular homicide. They first charge them with the fleeing and the looting, which makes it an underlying felony. Then the prosecutor charged them with the homicide in commission of the felony, which the underlying felony is fleeing and the looting, which used to be a misdemeanor, that the legislators turned into a felony just so they can make sure that the nigga that got drunk and killed that lady baby get forever in a day and he ain't getting out. Because he was felon in commission of, he committed a murder in the commission of a felony. You ain't getting out. That's automatic first degree murder. The intent is derived from the underlying felony. And the underlying felony says that you was intending to do something wrong. And because of that, now they support mothers against drunk driving by figuring out how to give you, instead of 5 years for a maximum on a vehicular homicide, now they can give you a life sentence to make sure that that mother right there gonna be satisfied with this prosecutor's job prosecuting this case to maximize the amount of punishment this motherfucker can get for getting drunk and getting behind the steering wheel. That's how powerful when these mothers get fed the fuck up, they word is. Is it back running now? Yeah. I don't know where it ended. Can y'all hear me now? Am I still frozen? Okay, so now you got this 16-year-old girl. She know she was born from one of the original tribes. She don't know how she know it. Her heart tell her, I was already here. I feel that. I belong right here on this land. It's talking to me. She feel the vibrations of the earth talk to her in her soul to tell her where she's supposed to be. Now she don't know what to do. Fuck it. I know what the grievance is. Babies. The babies is being exploited. And the remedy for that under the great law is the matriarchy take control to secure the children. Right? So now you got this 16-year-old girl pondering this information. And she grabbed her phone book. She scrolled across Mothers Against Drunk Driving. I wonder how they organized, because they was real effective in pushing these drunk driving prosecution cases. In some cities, they even got an actual Mother Against Drunk Driving supported prosecution specialist in the prosecutor's office to punish a motherfucker for killing one of their babies while they was driving drunk. So this 16-year-old girl said, that's a powerful ability. If I bring this grievance to them, I wonder if they will lend their resources in any capacity to assert my organic jurisdiction to the land to enforce the great law of the takeover of matriarchs. Let me call these sisters, these mothers who got babies, who tired of seeing babies laying dead in the street with chalk lines around them, putting little yummies in coffins. You know what I'm saying? Burying motherfucking girl X, not really knowing who the fuck she is, and somebody then set her on fire and molested her and rope spray all down the girl's throat and shit. I'm gonna tell them this is the reason why the mothers should exercise the law of the land from the tribes. Go talk to the old elders on the reservation, and they say, if ever the mothers say that enough is enough, this all gotta stop. Even the $5 Indians know this. Even the $5 Indians know that when the matriarchs on the land say enough is enough, we have to make sure it all go back to them. They all know it. Don't believe me? Go ask them. Go ask the elders on the land if the matriarchs get an order to reclaim the land, what's going to happen? They're going to say, that's when the great spirits say that the white man's system is over. That's what they're going to tell you. Because it's over. That shit a wrap. Them motherfucking matriarchs, the elephants marching, the hydra, right? They coming together. They converging. They starting to listen to this crazy ass Chief Pontiac telling them exactly how to assert a superior jurisdiction to anything they call law right now. So I come not to motherfucking deliver you from the law, but to even unto grace. And the grace is in the hands of the great mother. And the great mother is the prime creator, represented by the queen of heaven and earth. And the queen of heaven and earth is the raised matriarch, the grand matriarch on the land. So Betsy Ross sold the flag, and Mother Khadijah is the mother of the righteous. It's all in there, right? From Boston, right? The black and white Boston, the white motherfucking Sox, to the Red Sox, to Chicago to Boston. You put the shit together. Who in the fuck is the Red Sox, and why is they socks red, walking around in that goddamn blood? Whose blood is they walking around in? We wear wolves. Them motherfuckers drink the blood. Vampire ass motherfuckers. They look like us, but they ain't us. That's why they call us like kin. The goddamn likings. Because they like kin, but the motherfuckers ain't kin. Y'all suck the blood of the babies. Y'all rabbis suck baby dicks and shit in the name of goddamn it, y'all motherfucking blood rights. We know what that shit is. We don't want no parts of it. Fuck that shit. We don't want no parts of sucking on no baby dicks to get their little pee blood. What the fuck kind of sickery wickedry is that your God practice? That motherfucker got to be some kind of gay ass motherfucker. We know about these motherfucking sheikhs and rabbis molesting their motherfucking kids in the name of Islam, and kill another motherfucker for looking under her goddamn veil while he motherfucking ruining that child's life. We know what them motherfuckers be doing. That shit ain't no secret. We see them give them little girls away in marriage to an old ass man. We see this shit. We ain't blind. We ain't turning a blind eye to it. But them niggas that do, them Siraj Wahaj motherfuckers need lumps. I know that. Anytime you can speak on the conditions of these people in America, and then when you get over there, you can't speak on the conditions of the same shit going on where they sucking the blood of the babies, sucking the life spirit of the young girls out of them, all in the name of goddamn power and control. You motherfuckers are sick. And y'all think we supposed to go along to get along with that shit. We just supposed to just say, yeah, that's some cool shit that they doing to our babies, kidnapping them and putting them in the sex farms and shit. That's some cool shit. Let's have more babies and feed more babies to the beasts. We don't get on like that. Where do motherfuckers come from? Motherfucker entitled to make a mistake. But a motherfucker ain't entitled to keep doing the same dumb shit over and over without us considering that shit as a habit that needs to be permanently broken. It's not a mistake when you go through a drawn out process of stalking somebody's child for years until you get them right where you want them to snatch them up. That's not a mistake. It's not an accident. When you take the time to insulate your van with them motherfucking soundproofing shit and put padlocks on the outside so they can't escape from the inside shit,
That's not no accident. That's not no mistake. That grievance right there mobilized mothers against drunk driving to support your cause. How can we help? What do we need to do? We need to organize these towns to take all the start with the little towns. It'll be faster and activate this continuity of government program that's going to facilitate the mothers to stay home financially and take care of their own goddamn babies and to educate them at home. And if they don't know how to do it, they're going to get motherfucking teaching groups to teach mothers again to once again go back to the primary educator. You don't tell a child what to think, you teach them how to think. And then the rest of it is on them. They can put the world together by thinking original because we're not restricting them with our ignorances. These babies are smarter than these grown folks, but they don't have the temperance of age and the maturity of seasons in order to be able to apply that wisdom effectively. But if you can connect one of these old motherfucking old ladies with one of these young girls and allow her to teach her to control her womanness on a higher spiritual level, that young girl will grow into some shit you won't be able to control. But she will be the best motherfucking version of herself she can possibly produce. Don't cut the wisdom off from the youth and encourage the youth to earlyly exercise the wisdom. I once heard this wrote, "Be wise with speed, for a fool at 40 is a fool indeed." And I ain't finna be nobody fool. Because mama told me I ain't never got to kiss nobody ass. As long as I don't expect them to kiss mine. And I thought that was fair. Yeah. You'd be surprised. It's these little girls running for high school office in their school, the homecoming queen, all that. If they start using them platforms to connect with the other homecoming queens, they got a whole generation in a county in less than 2 days. Just by connecting the homecoming, they got a whole generation. Every school, every high school, that homecoming court, right? That's for a reason. That's not haphazard. That's a part of our culture they wasn't allowed to remove is the early training for political development of our youth so that they can politically communicate with each other. What they don't tell the student that becomes the homecoming king and queen is they supposed to have an opportunity to communicate with other homecoming kings and queens in order to build unity between communities at a youth level so that by the time they become old enough to participate in local government, they have been skilled enough to talk to the ones who's going to be in another local facilities government. So they got alliances already built in to the rising government from the fallen system. And it don't and the school's supposed to facilitate any um, class president to be able to have a meeting with any other class president in order to for them to learn diplomacy using the school system as the vehicle. That's how they are supposed to learn diplomacy. That's how they are supposed to learn how to represent their school. They learn how to represent their community when they go to other communities. Then the homecoming presidents of the schools collect the grievances from each other, and then the ones that they can find solutions to, they the ones who present it to the motherfucking school council and to improve education. But they got them in Skinner boxes using Pavlovian response system to capitalize on the control, and they never teach the child how to use those homecoming court positions as the training ground for your diplomacy as you become an adult later on. They don't want the child looking to one day I'm going to be 40, 50. I'm going to be an elder in the community. And when I become an elder in the community, at least I want to be some kind of way functional and useful to my community. And when we start telling it, then they do stuff like to interrupt them, putting glitches in the video, right? Like we don't obviously see this shit follows a specific pattern. It's not random and haphazard. When I ain't talking about no real empowerment and I'm talking about education, my interruptions are fewer. But when I start talking about now that we got the education, this is how we organize that information into a viable energy tapping mechanism to use spiritual power to overcome the physical world and put us in the world in physical power, using our spiritual rank to override the lower ranking energies of the earth that's at play, contract law. Override it with the matriarchal law. The matriarchal first right to the earth right at any given time, that the consensus of mothers determined that the next 7 generations of the youth is at jeopardy. They can stop any form of government operating on the land in the interest of restoring the matriarchy to protect the child. That's the first right out of earth rights. That's the most powerful. You don't need no other one. The grievance is what they doing to the children. Your Hollywood pedophiles, your motherfucking sex trafficking rings and your child sacrificers, your Hillary Clintons and John Podestas and Ghislaine Maxwell's. And we know these people exist. They, even if they make them up, we still know this shit being done because we got too many victims that's coming out saying, hey, yeah, that motherfucker been my rapist for 20 years. I didn't put them up to it. I don't know them motherfuckers, but I can point you to their stories. I wasn't around when that shit went down. That shit didn't have nothing to do with me. It's so bad now that the female don't know the difference from being approached by a man versus being approached by a pervert. They don't know the difference. They just assume everybody a pervert now. Hi, how you doing? Oh, you got a gray beard. You must be a pervert. Bitch, fuck you. But you got those certain females on the land, they know something. They don't know how they know it. They got something in the back of their heart and mind is telling them at the same time, is more to my ability to run this shit than I've been told. The key is what? Is all she want to know. The key is the more sisters with like minds that you connect with, you start activating an unbreakable linking system of mothers. The young girls got the high Shakti warrior energy to ride or die in the community according to the truth. But we've been allowing them to ride and die for the wrong shit. We allowing them to ride or die for the wrong shit. Don't stop letting them ride or die for dumb shit. If you're gonna have them ride or die, on some real talk, if you're gonna let these sisters be ride or die, tell them how to assert their jurisdiction according to the tribal standards. And then get the fuck out their way. Then you'll see how this shit supposed to go. If you want to have something to ride or die for. If they wouldn't, the worst army to put together is a female army that know who they are and they know their birthright and they know this they shit. That's the worst motherfucker to put together. But they don't even realize I don't even gotta fight. All they gotta do is organize. And that's why I tell you the little nuances to organizing that taps in the greater power. There is not a sorority. There is not a church mothers organization. There's not a women's lobbying group. There is not a corporate women society where the women in corporate America get together that will not support another mother to protect the rights of the child to be free from molestation and brought up in a healthy, happy environment. There's not a mother. Now, it might be some rotten bitches, but it's not a mother that's going to go against that. It's not going to be one. I don't know a good mother that's going to go against protecting the interest of the child. And the way, once you become a mother, and I noticed this, when you watch a mother be a mother, she immediately know when another mother is in distress how to give her aid and assistance because she know what she's going through from experience. Same experience, different people. I've been there already. Let me show her what I found out. Women naturally teach each other how to be better mothers. So if you want to be a great father, find good mothers and watch them be mothers and then log in what's missing, and that's your part. The part that she's not telling them, that's what you're supposed to tell them. And then you start to compliment what she's teaching them. By telling them what you're telling them creates the balanced child of a two-parent connection. Once you do this, it don't matter. It could be a stepchild. It could be the lady down the street child. And you apply that energy of every child is yours. Because in the matriarchy, you can't tell a mother that's looking over 15 kids and only 2 of them is hers that it's okay for you to come in and fuck with another one that she's looking over. She gonna fuck you up with the same energy as if you was fucking with one of the 2 that's hers because they under her mothery and all of the rest of the hens got these babies under her feathers. When you come, it don't matter which one, she gonna snatch the same amount of knot in your ass equally about any one of them. I don't care. They can be a Chinese one, a black one, a motherfucker from Ireland, they're over here, and from Europe over. It don't matter who child they is under her protection. When these other mothers pass them off, that's an unwritten, unspoken agreement that you're going to tear the world up about my child when I give them to you as if it's your very own. And when she take that child from her, she already agreed to it and they ain't even said shit. And we too dumb to see it until we seen it in action. The most peaceful, docile, laid-back woman will turn into a goddamn mama bear when you fuck with her kids. The only ones that don't do it is a riding bitch. Them the only ones that won't do it. A riding bitch will ride with her man over her kids. And if a man make you choose between him and your kids, you's a goddamn fool for even entertaining that shit. A real man is going to want to see you be a good mother because then he going to have pride in the type of woman that he chose. A real man. One of these bitch ass dudes, one of these 9-vote niggas, they want all the attention on them. Me, it's about me. My woman supposed to cater to me. That bitch shit right there. Fuck that shit. The baby's gotta eat. She need to go cook. Nigga, I'm going in the kitchen and cut some goddamn onions and cut some goddamn carrots to make sure I get my motherfucking time with my lady. Fuck that shit. The kids still gotta eat. I can't expect her to not do her function as a mother because I want her to come and talk to me. Come sit. I want you up on, cuffed up on. Get your bitch ass somewhere and sit down. Let that woman be a mother and enjoy that because that's when you're going to get her best self. That's when you're going to get her best self. When you facilitating, you see what she's doing as a mother, instead of saying, sidetrack, come tend to my needs, you say, hey, that's some dope shit. Let me go watch this. Let me get a close-up look at this shit. I'm interested in what mothers do when they raise children. That's an interest of mine. So I want to see when the mama correct the child, I want to see what was he doing? Oh, okay. So that's why you took his phone instead of spanking his ass. I understand that makes sense. But we all want, it's all about, we ain't all about shit, motherfucker. It's about the future. The reason why your dumb ass is grown getting a job is so that you can pay for the future that you lay out before your child, because you know what you want to come back to. You don't want to come back to this miserable ass shit here. So you dive into the investment of your future by investing in your child. Because the more successful your child come when you come back to this bitch, the more successful the household you move into. Yeah, that shit sink in. You gotta realize the knowledge itself will activate once you start pursuing knowledge itself. It'll start to give you pieces and building blocks as you putting pieces and building blocks together, right? So it's gonna look like you grabbing the pieces to the puzzle out of thin air as you build the reality that's in the best interest of the next 7 generations. That's the responsibility of the women. The women are not going to stand for us sitting idle while the children be exploited if they know there's a remedy to the solution, especially when the remedy doesn't require us to blow some shit up with bombs. They really all ears then. You not can stop these motherfuckers from harvesting adrenochrome, selling babies and little girls and boys into sex traffic, exploiting them, their talents and all that shit just by reaching out to other mothers and vexing the grievance and agreeing it's time for the matriarchy to take over. And as I do this, it has a domino effect. And by the time you look up, the women have took over all seats of government using the blueprint for raising the matriarchy. We don't want to tell them that. We don't want to tell them that. Because then the bitch ass niggas, these 9-vote motherfuckers, now they're going to either have to produce something from what they've learned from life. That's why I say study to show thyself approved. Your information in building the woman that you're looking at becomes critical to your ability to restore power to our people. And them niggas gonna start crying and shit. You niggas wasn't crying when they was snatching them babies up. While I was crying when I found out about it. Bitch ass niggas wasn't crying then. Now you want to cry because the women decided to take the jurisdiction back from the de facto corporation and make you niggas do what's right. Now you want to cry. You wasn't crying with me when I found out the white man wasn't even white and there was some motherfuckers look like us that was doing this shit to us. And that's the only reason we couldn't get out of this shit because they look like us, but they ain't us. But now you want to cry because the women took their shit back. They exercised the rights of the earth rights in the name of the children, protecting the next 7 generations to come. And now you want to cry. You wasn't crying when the motherfuckers was exploiting all of these entertainers like I did when I found out the dirt they was doing to them behind the scenes, turning them into sharecroppers, modern day billion-dollar slaves, allowing them to live good while they're here, but taking all their shit when they leave, and there was no remedy for that shit. And shit didn't bring man one of you niggas to tears when you see how they motherfucking set up Sam Cooke, or how they motherfucking murdered Otis Redding. Now, y'all wasn't crying about that shit like I was when I discovered it because that's how much I love my people. But now you want to cry because these women took the earth back. Now you want to cry because women take the earth back. That's why I'm telling them exactly what to do. Because you bitch ass niggas sitting back waiting on another motherfucker to do all of the work so y'all can come in and receive all of the rewards. Give out what you put in. In the matriarchy, you can only get what you earn. You can't get something you don't earn. You can only get what you earn. But I guarantee you this, everything you earn, you're going to get. Good, bad, or indifferent. And all of you motherfuckers ain't working in the right direction knowingly. You know you doing dirt. You know 100% that you're doing wrong, but you're doing it anyway. And you're going to be expecting a reward, and you're going to get what the fuck you earn. And I'm going to say, that don't got nothing to do with me. I put in my work. I serve my community. I was telling these motherfuckers we ain't come on no goddamn ships. They crossed us out. They came over here, challenged us to a Conjure war in order to stop the bloodbath going on with the Gullah Wars. And when they called the Conjure War, it was feathers versus fezzes in the end of 200 years. Which one of these motherfuckers gonna know what side of the water they came from? They try to tell us that this is Northwest Africa, aka Al Maghrib, and rewrite the motherfucking geography so that it appears that way on the paperwork, which is a fucking fraud from A to Z. Then they concocted some goddamn motherfucking tribes, made up new motherfucking tribes, declared these motherfuckers chief by presidential decree of a de facto corporation that ain't got no goddamn business over here. These motherfuckers are declaring a motherfucker chief in order to sign a treaty as if they was us. All the time they trying to whitewash us and erase us from the history books. Like we ain't gonna never figure this goddamn shit out. And Big Mama said, don't leave no stone unturned. I'll roll them all on you bitch ass motherfuckers. I don't give a fuck what you motherfuckers say. It's still 21 bricks to the pyramid, goddamn it, because one's still a cold brick. Take it for what it's goddamn worth. I'm not finna take sides with nobody bullshit, but I want all of these clans. I don't give a fuck if they the Crips or the Bloods. I don't give a fuck if they the motherfucking MS-13 or the Tobaccos or the Cholos. I don't give a fuck if they Latin Kings or Latin Counts. I don't give a fuck if they Vice Lords or GDs. I don't give a fuck if they BD or BG. I don't give a fuck if the motherfuckers are insane or unknown. I don't give a fuck if they're a maniac disciple or a goddamn Latin count. I don't give a fuck. Put the motherfucking tribes back in their positions and give them their shit. That's all I care about. I'm not taking sides with none of their bullshit that this whole legal fiction artificially produced in our communities that turned our children against each other. I'm not participating in it. Y'all can participate in it. I don't care about who you think is a different species or none of that shit. All I know is when this motherfucking shit over, only the Earthborn gonna be here. Atlas shrugged, shook off the goddamn parasites. Shook off the parasites. When you motherfuckers hear the ringing in your ear and them motherfuckers hear the screaming banshee, just know mama cleaning her motherfucking house. They gonna be balled up on the ground screaming and crying. You're gonna be looking at them like, what the fuck wrong with you? They don't belong here. They heart do not resonate on the frequency of Earth. They mitochondrial is not synced to the frequency of Earth. Because they wasn't supposed to be here, they will be being removed on the closeout. It's not personal, it's just business. It's just family business. I just take family business a little bit personal because I don't like nobody fucking with my family if they not fucking with nobody. And if they fucking with somebody, I'm going to check their ass because I don't want my family getting in no shit that I'm going to have to come get their ass out of later because they dug some shit and they couldn't control it because I'm coming in on 10. So I keep them bumps straight so that I know that when I come tear some shit up, I'm tearing it up for the right reason. It wasn't no other way. It's already been tried. Somebody else tried it that way. It didn't work. Somebody marched about it. It didn't work. Somebody sung about it. It didn't work. Somebody fought about it with the fist. It didn't work. Some of them shot it out. It didn't work. And now these motherfuckers tried to think through the problem. Maybe, just maybe, it's a possibility we're a matriarchal people. So maybe if we figure out how to restore the matriarchs to the land, that might be a good way to begin reclaiming our shit back. Let me look in other organizations around the community to see if there's any validity to the concept and idea of restoring a matriarchy. So I see Noble Drew Ali came to uplift fallen humanity, and in his arms, as he rises above the cares of the world and steps on the solid law of the land, he's carrying a woman. And he got written on her dress, fallen humanity. So from a Moorish perspective, looking at a matriarchal view, to uplift the woman is to uplift fallen humanity. That got to be verified by at least one other organization. So the Nation of Islam teach no nation can rise higher than its woman. What that mean? What that mean? In this case, nation being used in reference to a group of people that have similar interests and cultural connections, tying them to the land in the exercise of the rights to do so. So that would mean that if you put the woman in her proper place, the society be in its proper place, and then everything will properly run how it properly supposed to be. That's something. Nuwapu. Sound right reason. York right. Nuwapu. What do it say? Earth, mitochondria had a right to the earth rights. It's in the book of Tahuti. The mitochondria is in the soil and the women are the earths. So if we want to put everything back in its proper order according to sound right reasoning, we restore what they broke down. What did they break down? The matriarchy. How do we know it? Because the Catholic Church is on the Temple of Isis platform, blueprint. Makes sense. So the Pope is a drag queen pretending to be the queen of heaven and earth. That's what you're telling me, Dr. Malachi? You ain't outright say that that's the actual implication, but if the layout of the Catholic Church is a mimic of the priesthood of Isis, and then the Pope would be sitting where Isis is supposed to be sitting, that would make him in that dress a drag queen, like the Statue of Liberty that came from France after the IAT kicked their ass. They left out of here skirting and sent us back a drag queen with a book in her hand. And the book must be the Bible, because the Pope is the drag queen that's holding the seat of Isis that we got to overthrow in order to get our shit back. That's just according to sound right reason. So where can I find this outside of Malachi, where the woman was the structure first? And I stroll into a preacher who is a conjure man named Barashango. Barashango wrote this book called African Woman, the Original Guardian Angel. And get done giving a description of the position of these ancient black women. I'm like, wait a minute. These was the goddesses of all of the cultures. These goddesses from all of these cultures are the ones, the guardians of these cultures are the spirits that they trying to subjugate. They turning these women into drag queens, putting beards on them in order to replace them with patriarchal figures to make the man look and appear to be superior to the woman in order to give an artificial justification for subjugating the woman. So that got to be somewhere else. You got to be able to show me another matriarchal people that believe the matriarchs run the house or the government when we in control. Yeah, I'm watching fucking Fast and Furious and I see Big Mama with her shoe. Ain't that about a bitch? Big Mama in the slipper, notorious Mama Bear not, right? The slipper that's Big Mama. Whoop your ass with that slipper if you 80 years old and she 160, it don't matter. When she raised that slipper, you know her jurisdiction is under motherfucking call. So I got to be able to find this in another part of the culture. I'm past coincidence now. I'm past three connections. I already went to the Moorish Science. I went to the Nation of Islam. I went to the Nuwabians. I ain't even mentioned the five percenters, man, woman, and child. God is first. In order to raise the nation, he opens the way. That's a conjure for saying Hi John the Conqueror, the opener of the road, the opener of the way. You seen in the Legba before the Ogun come and put this motherfucking shit back in order. Wait a minute, but why is this? It's the circle in the 7 and the 13 is the motherfucking Queen Mother seat. It's the seal from the Queen Mother in order to exercise the jurisdiction. How in the fuck did Puddin get the Queen of the Seal Mother? Yeah, she got to be the godmother of Harlem. Okay, makes sense. So now that ties the 5 tribes of the 5 boroughs together on the land using 5% nation lingo in order to communicate in the face of the oppressor without using the oppressor's tongue in order to motherfucking tell the gods to protect the earth. And the nation of gods and earth produces gods, men, great men of valor and renown, who will protect the integrity of the earth. The only way to protect the integrity of the earth is to restore the earth rights. But in order to restore the earth rights, you have to raise a matriarchy. God damn, all these niggas know this shit. All these niggas know this shit. Okay, let's look somewhere else. Blanket culture. What do y'all know about blanket culture? So some of the tribes from the northern regions, they give you a blanket. I mean, you wrapped in the protection of the clan. Wherever you go, if you show this blanket, they know that you are under the family tree of this clan. And it's a great honor for any tribal mother to give you a fucking blanket. Especially if they from the north. When it's warmer, they don't give you blankets. They give you other gifts. In the Southwest, they give you harvest gifts. It's a big basket with different types of corn in it. Ruby corn and competition corns from the corn growing ceremonies. And we used to have our botanists grow different styles and colors of corn for us to have different textures of color in the celebrations that we used to do. And it was all matriarchal communities. Somebody got to go against the grain other than this corporate legal fiction. But all of the tribes are still matriarchal. Everywhere I look, they still matriarchal, but they're not exercising the matriarchal right. They're not telling the women by connecting with the other matriarchs across the land to establish a government that can rise up at the shrug and shake these fleas off at any given time y'all choose to. Why y'all don't tell them this shit? She's scared of. Scared of the woman going love your ass back to life from a life of death? We dying every day. What if we find a way to live every day? Turn that shit around on the enemy. They want us to kill each other and to die off, shed each other blood so they can live off the essence of your motherfucking fumes in the atmosphere from the trauma of the death. It's like they breathe a fresh breath air in our misery. Our misery is their fresh air. So let's suffocate them bitches. Start turning these motherfucking towns into motherfucking FEMA relief zones with goddamn Mardi Gras in every goddamn town. Force the mayor reclaim the key in the charter and use that card sheet to activate FEMA's continuity government protocol to bring relief to your area. So that's when you find out what they mean. So if we gonna build heaven on earth, tell the people who guided the woman. So I'm reverse engineer creation. You would discover we in Big Mama's uterus living this shit called life on this planet called Earth. But all that dark shit out there, the triple darkness of space, is a womb. The only place it's duplicated is in the womb. And now you got men trying to create artificial portals of life, trying to outdo the woman. That just don't make sense. How can you be more woman than a woman? You weren't born that way. Altering all your chemicals and shit, trying to adjust yourself to be a woman. Wow. Yeah, so Scorpio and Virgo used to be Scorpio Virgo as a single zodiac. Then it became split when they created the enmity between the serpent seed, in this case is the scorpion, the cobra, and the seed of the woman, the Virgo, the earthborn. So they didn't never want us, earthborn males, to ever tell the earthborn females Isis had 12 daughters in the sun. And the 12 daughters of Isis is the 12 tribes of the earth. And they came in different skin textures, colors, and motherfucking hair textures and colors. And the spectrum comes from the offspring of those 12 daughters of Isis, which creates your 12 tribes of Isis, which they translate as the 12 tribes of Israel, because they tried to usurp the knowledge of the matriarchs and the daughters of I teach on every plane of existence in which I exist. Hold on. What it do with you, buddy? I'll call it back in a minute. I'm you asked what is the best body of water for the human on earth, and it's wherever the water not polluted. The water is the physical expression of spirit in the 3D realm. The H2O construct, right? The H2O construct is the part of a fucking honeycomb, right? And then the carbon is a bigger piece. So what we're looking at is the basic building blocks of the understanding of spirit using the elements in visible three-dimensional realm, and we understand the movement of spirit best by how we understand the movement of water. Um, like water is always trying to return to its source, just like people are always trying to reconnect with the source through their own personal divinity. What was happening is we was taught to never show our divinity under the Kali Yuga while we tried to resolve kinds of wars and conflicts between warring species on the earth. And earth is in the balance, but earth will never lose. Because as long as there's a record, we can find a solution. And we always know how to get the extension of time needed in order to execute the plan discovered and bring it into fruition. That ancient mountain of metal in Haiti came from a meteorite. You know, it's I think primarily iridium, and we are talking trillions of dollars um, before they can even knock a dent in the amount of iridium that's there. It's the problem is right now is people in Haiti is not restoring the balance yet, but they are working on restoring the balance, and it's working in the diaspora, which is going to trigger the home front to call back our children to rebuild Haiti. Um, a lot of people say the iridium is the concept metal for Wakanda in the vibranium, which it could be. I don't know. In its monoatomic form, iridium is also a superconducting material for the organic beings to be able to bypass the consumption of lesser foods to get a lower calorie conversion with a higher waste product. You eliminate the waste product when you use a superconductor, and therefore you don't got the shit and piss. And that's why they say that a lot of the angels don't use the bathroom. They don't have bodily functions because these Anunnaki are subsisting on monoatomic um, metals like iridium, gold, platinum, and they all perform different function in a or orbitally rearranged molecular form, they ormus form. When they all do something different, but they all have a magnificent quality of effect on the central nervous system's ability to go from an organic being to a being of whole light, transfer at a moment's notice, and think where you want to be and get there. Like those are things that we were able to do as Atlanteans. That's why there's no great Atlantean cemetery. The fucking body will break down and we would disintegrate that motherfucker into the ethers and reconverge another body. Redraw the functioning molecules that produces the body from the whole life being. And that's why people always say the angels appear like they just poof out of nowhere. coming from a light being. So imagine as a light being, they are all encompassing. When you're trying to see them, you just see that the room is illuminated. But when they condense the light into a molecular construct under laws of alchemical processing, and they're able to draw the already denser matter, similar denser atoms in the atmosphere to form the physical form where they look just as physical as you, right? Well, those are high masters, and they don't use the same, like Babaji talked about in the autobiography of Yogi, Paramahansa Yogananda. Babaji is called a Maha Avatar, which is a great avatar, and he's been in the energy of the earth field for a very, very, very long time. You can look him up on Google, Babaji, Babaji, the great Maha Avatar sage of India. And he also got a sister who is equally as, they do the same shit, disincarnate in front of people while they looking at them and reincarnate somewhere else while people looking at them. And this is like basic, that's as common, not Babaji is as common in the culture of India as the Bible is in America. What I mean by that is people see Babaji in various places in India to the same amount of visual laid eyes on of a Bible of the people over here. And we call them people crazy. They know Babaji exists, and so many people have sat and talked to him and got guidance from him. And then when we come over here, we just hold up the Bible and say, in the name of Jesus. And you don't even know Jesus is ISIS. Because you don't know Jesus is ISIS, you using all of the ritual with none of the power. And they know that all they have to do is translate the name back to ISIS when they motherfucking do they motherfucking mass rites and they unlock the energy that you built up for them. In other words, they've been using the name to feed off your spiritual reverence for the Queen of Heaven and Earth and turning it against you to subjugate you. That's some badass shit. Them motherfuckers was not joking with us. We can say whatever the fuck we want to, but them motherfuckers was brilliant. I don't even know. If it wasn't for my mama teaching me the way she would, I don't think I'd ever figured this shit out. Because this shit is retarded. It's so fucking fucked up that it seems that it's fucked up beyond all human capabilities to ever recover or repair. This shit fucked up the way humans treat other humans, the way that the divide and conquer strategy has worked so well, the way that the infiltration of the Zionists into all fabrics of society under the pretense of it's not us doing what you're looking at us doing. Don't blame us for doing the shit that we doing while you watching us doing it. It's not us. And if you do see us, we're just going to call you anti-Semitic and say you against yourself for revealing the fact that I'm just a motherfucking straw man. They got us following that shit. Like it's the actual written gospel of truth when it's the written gospel of trickery and deception and highly evolved bullshit. That's bullshit on a master alchemical level of bullshit. The bullshit is so big, the only word I can say to describe it is magnanimous. It's magnanimously huge quantities of this bullshit that they be feeding to us. And nobody is even considering taking the time to overthrow the system, but we all take the time to entertain this bullshit. We entertain it. Look, once we realize power, nobody in power is going to surrender their position of power unless a more powerful person step to it. The most powerful people on the earth is the earthborn when it comes to installing the earth rights on earth. There's nobody more powerful. And the operation of the earthborn is all of the mothers have a collective grievance that they all agree on. It's an instant shift of power. They got the right to do it, and we don't have the right to stop them. There's nobody on earth or in the known universe to have a right to stop the mothers from protecting the children. There's no rule nowhere written. You can't even find an oral acknowledgement that the mother does not have the right to protect the children. You can't find it anywhere. Now you might find where a rotten bitch don't deserve to be a mother. You might find that written somewhere. But you will never find anywhere where a mother is not allowed to protect her children. Child Protective Services may act like sometimes a mother don't got the right to protect her children when they're trying to steal them, when they're trying to corrupt them, they'll act like that. But when you deal with mother to mother on a one-on-one conversation and you say, "You tired of these motherfuckers?" I am too. Let's protect these babies, me and you. Once y'all start doing that shit, there's nobody has a superior right to anything that to override the mother's right to protect the child. There's no military on earth that holds a higher right than the mother's right to protect her child. And the collective mothers coming together to collective youth, because it's our responsibility to protect the youth and so that they can be functional and operative for the next 7 generations. There's no rule. The fucking animals don't listen to nobody to tell them to protect their child. How are we going to expect the human to say, no, mothers can't protect their children? That's fucking retarded. The fucking bears do it. Squirrels do it. Chipmunks do it. Motherfucking ducks do it. Badgers do it. Bumblebees do it. Motherfucking killer hornets do it. They all animals on earth have a right to protect a child that is recognized by every species of animal on the planet. So who's going to override the right of the human mother to come together with the rest of the mothers to protect the children for the next 7 generations? Who can assert a superior position to that in relation to the human economy? I don't know nobody. I don't know a father that's worth his weight in shit that's not going to back up a mother protecting her child. I know a piece of shit that won't be around. You won't be able to find them when it comes time to protect the child. I don't know no motherfucking father who acknowledges children and love himself and his family that's not going to support a mother's right to protect the child from this ongoing bullshit. Now, y'all might be able to find an organization. I just haven't found one. I'm looking, but I ain't found one yet. I haven't found nowhere where it's written. I haven't heard it orally expressed where anybody has a right to stop the mothers from protecting the children. I haven't found it nowhere. I haven't found no military that if the mothers on the land, because they make up the mothers of the soldiers. So they're going to agree with that shit when it's time to enforce it because they all got a mama. And when the mama say, hey, this shit is not working for these children and we need to do something better. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn these motherfuckers water off. No. One dog out there must got bit by one other dog screaming and shit. But there's nobody who will stop the mothers from protecting the children when they assemble. You go get the church mothers. You know, the tribes, the ones who they call Indians, Native Americans, the real ones, the ones that was here before Columbus came, the ones who created the old Mississippian culture, you know, the mound builders, the Washitaws, the Choctaws, the Chippewas, the Muskogee, all of them, the Oshkosh, you know, them motherfuckers. If they ever decided, the women ever decided that they wanted to exercise a right as a tribe to reclaim the land, all they got to do is prove to another mother that the children need to be protected. And when all of the mothers come together and agree, native law takes over. All of this is tribal land. Even the 10 square miles, the totem pole has been set to seize that as tribal land. So now it's all tribal land. Over 500 nations across the land represented, or 500 clans, tribes represented in this shit. And we old Mississippians, you know, them old country boys, they say we slow because we talk with a country drawl sometimes. Sometimes we don't say gallery, we say gallery. You know, them boys, they think that we a little slow because we don't use their proper edict of English. And we don't talk like the gentry of Europe. So they call us slow. Oh, backwards ass country boys. Big Mama ain't tell us to cancel your shit. So you never knew that it's a country boy at Big Mama house waiting to dig his feet in one of you motherfuckers' asses when you come fucking around on that bullshit. So these country boys gonna put that shit back together for y'all. And for y'all don't understand it, just cause we talk with a country drawl don't mean we slow at all. I'm just here to tell it like it is. So um, the process, the catalysts to spark the conversation among as many indigenous mothers as possible. The more of them is on board, because most of them don't even know they ain't come on no goddamn ships yet. That's the fucked up part that's slowing us down. They got motherfuckers thinking they literally was brought over here, packed like sardines, 300 to 3,000 strong on these ships, right? They got our people convinced they took that motherfucker and made it over here when it's not even physiologically possible to inhale the fumes of that much shit and piss longer than a couple days, let alone 3/4 of a year. But if I ever get them to understand that they was already here, and they ever feel that call from the earth that they need to retake their shit back, this is the video. This is the understanding that they need on how they build their power in their communities by making connections and gathering sister support for the mothers to exercise the superior jurisdiction on the land, because we're not under the Admiralty maritime jurisdiction and the salvage rights of the discovery doctrine. We ain't under that shit no more. We have no government. There's no government. Everybody is in interim capacity for the last 200 years. Nobody's an actual de jure government on the land. There's no de jure government. The de facto government is closed, so they got all of the places of business where they did business on autopilot. There's some courts buildings that's just been closed for almost 2 years now. They haven't even opened back up. So they know their jurisdiction is ran its course, came to an end. The contract is over. So we got to form government from the grassroots level. And then the of understanding what's taking place is how we activate the chiefs, the higher governmental structure, what we call the national government. But it's not really a national, it's a unified tribal government across the land. Chiefs are already selected. We all here. All the masters came to see this shit closed up. Now, if we just to see these women talking among themselves about just use the one grievance. You don't need 100 grievances. That one grievance, there's nobody on earth or in the known universe or unknown universe has ever been able to produce a superior right than the mother's right to protect the child. It's not producible. It's not producible. If you don't believe me, the black widow believed that the father gonna eat the baby, so she eat his ass before they born. Whether she right or not, I don't know. But that's what she believed. So she gonna eat his ass before he eat her babies. That's her program. That's what she operated from. Caterpillars make a whole big ass silk fucking balloon for their babies, caterpillars, before they go turn into a butterfly to be able to have a safe haven, a place they call home, shelter, food, ants. You know, you got some birds that have dropped their babies off in order to infiltrate another clan of birds to raise their child. But they did that to protect their child from their inaptitude at being a parent. Adoption is an absolute part of nature. We don't call it adoption. You either gonna take them in or you ain't. They either part of your clan or they not. Once they in the clan, their skill set gonna determine where they go. But they either in or they ain't. They can't almost be part of the clan. So that's to conclude this one. I have a visitor arrive.